Welcome to Mixology Phrenology. I'm Bitter Steve, and today I'm putting together a batch of Port Royal Rum Punch, my own version of a clarified milk punch. Port Royal was a haven for pirates and privateers who regularly attacked the Spanish trade routes using this town as their base, which became notorious for gaudy displays of wealth and loose morals, and was visited by pirates from all over the world, almost like a tourist destination. I would believe that in the taverns and brothels of Port Royal, something similar to this punch would have been served to all the visiting buccaneers to ease them out of their ill-gotten treasures. Now, historians will be the first to point out that Port Royal sank into the ocean long before the invention of both rum and port wine. But we all need to take some liberties with our cocktails, right? Last night I peeled 4 lemons and threw them in a container with about 3/4 cup of sugar to make a 12-hour Oleo Saccharum. I've also heated 4 cups of water in an electric kettle to brew 12 bags of black tea. I usually use Earl Gray to provide a little extra oomph from the bergamot oil, though some of you may prefer just black tea. I let it steep for about 5 minutes, and once the brewed tea is just cool enough to handle, I add it to the Oleo Saccharum to dissolve the sugar and capture the oil before straining out the lemon peel. All right, let's start our build. We're going to begin with the tea and the Oleo Saccharum mixer. Let's add the port wine, the Jamaican rum, the lemon juice that we squeezed from the lemons from last night. I just kept those in the fridge overnight, and the Allspice Dram. Now, we're going to wait until this reaches room temperature, which should take about 30 minutes. I'm using a tawny port, just because I do like that mellow, oaky flavor. A ruby goes fine here too. And of course, for Jamaican rum, it's always going to be Smith & Cross. That's a staple over here. Technically, you're good to go right now. This may be a little bit strong, but there's no reason you couldn't serve this right away in a large punch bowl with a giant block of ice. I would use pebble ice in the glass just to make sure you get the right dilution. But let's get to step 2. Get a glass pitcher and throw in 2 cups of whole milk, and then add the punch right on top. It must be done in this order or it won't work as well. You'll see the milk curdle right away, and we're going to let this sit absolutely undisturbed for an hour. Alright, now that the hour is up, let's get a bowl. Now what I've done is I put in a colander, I've thrown in some coffee filters, and then put a nut milk bag on top. The key thing to remember is normally when you're using a nut milk bag or a cheesecloth bag, that you squeeze it when you're done. We're not going to do that. That actually lets a lot of these little particles back into your drink, and we want to keep those out. So just let gravity do its job. And remember, these items are going to be filtering out the curds, but the curds are what are filtering out the color in your cocktail. And so if you want it more clarified, just take it and dump it right back in again to the nut milk bag and let those curds filter it a second time. I think we'll just do this once, so I'm going to pour it in right now.
عم السكون كل البيوت نام الكل إلا الغلابة يا غلابة يا غلابة صبروا.
Look at this color. Isn't this absolutely amazing? Now I've just thrown this in a mason jar with a little flip top lid, but you might have a fancier glass pitcher that you want to use. Either way, the point is to show off how clear it is, so your guests will be surprised at how much flavor you've managed to pack in here. Before we taste it though, let's just do a quick comparison. Here is the original before it was clarified. Look how red, how cloudy that is, and just look what we end up with. I bet these both will taste good, so we're going to put them both through a taste test, and we'll check that out in just a second. Let me get set up. we're using small glasses and small ice. The reason is we want it to dilute just a little bit really quickly, but we don't want to have so much in there that it gets overly diluted, so we'll finish it quickly and get a second glass. All right, let's try the original first. That's very nice. I like the way that the port wine mixes in there very well with the lemon that comes out very strongly. I almost don't notice the rum in here at all. It is not as much of it as there is port wine, but this is a very nice cocktail. Now let's try the clear version. Oh, that's very different. It's absolutely amazing though. The port and the rum meld together perfectly, and those clove and cinnamon notes from the allspice are perfectly represented. And while you can do this with just the sugar and the lemon juice without making an Oleo Saccharum, this one step truly elevates this cocktail. This recipe is definitely going into my regular rotation, and let me know in the comments if you made something similar. I'd like to know. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video.
عم السكون كل البيوت نام الكل إلا الغلابة يا غلابة يا غلابة صبروا